Organization is the arranging of physical reality around an approved inward pattern. This is the 7-Minute Daily Focus, day 54 of 365. Today's focus, the law of organization. Organization is not coincidence. Organization is response. Organization is the arranging of physical reality around an approved inward pattern. If the world behind is ordered, the world in front will organize. To organize means to express inward design in outward form, the inevitable and uncompromising arranging of physical reality around an approved inward pattern, without exception. Pause for a moment. Sense the structure of this law. Nothing physically visible stands alone. Nothing appears without sequence. Nothing arranges itself without inward approval. Organization follows governance. Governance follows order. Order follows approval. Approval follows recognition. Recognition follows awareness. Sequence is intact. When you stabilize the unseen, organization must occur in front. Events align. Opportunities synchronize. Physical expressions appear structured rather than scattered, because structure has been chosen behind. Disorganization is not randomness, it is misalignment with inward sequence. When inner agreement is divided, outer structure reflects division. The fruit mirrors the seed. The law of organization restores coherence. It reminds you that every sustained perception is planting, every repeated approval is reinforcing, every deliberate focus is constructing, and construction must eventually become physically visible. Look more closely at how organization unfolds in daily life. It is rarely dramatic. It unfolds through gradual alignment. Pieces begin to fit together deliberately. Over time, the unseen becomes physically visible structure. Patterns begin to reveal coherence where confusion once stood. Organization is intelligence becoming physically visible. It is structure rising from what was previously unseen. When an inward pattern is held steadfastly, rearrangement is inevitable. Priorities clarify with precision. Language becomes exact. Decisions become deliberate. Attention consolidates. It no longer disperses. You begin to notice that what once felt scattered now begins to align around a central direction. This is not luck. It is organization responding to approved structure. Organization also removes excess. What does not belong to the approved inward pattern gradually falls away. Conversations lose momentum. Distractions lose appeal. Opportunities that once seemed urgent no longer resonate. This pruning is not loss, it is refinement, because organization is selective. It arranges around what has been authorized, and what has not been authorized cannot anchor itself. Consider the difference between clutter and design. Clutter is accumulation without intention. Design is arrangement with purpose. The law of organization transforms mental clutter into structural design. When thoughts are scattered, physical experience reflects scattering. When thoughts are aligned, physical experience reflects alignment. The unseen blueprint governs the physically visible layout. Organization is cumulative. It builds upon repeated approval. One decision alone does not construct a pattern, but sustained decisions in one direction create momentum. Momentum creates coherence. Coherence creates physical visibility. Over time, what was once invisible order becomes unmistakably structured experience. The physical world does not resist organization. It responds to it. It arranges around clarity. It mirrors decisiveness. It reflects steadiness. When inward approval wavers, outer arrangement wavers. When inward approval stabilizes, outer arrangement stabilizes. Sequence is faithful. It does not skip steps. It does not violate pattern. There is also a rhythm to organization. It does not rush beyond readiness. It unfolds in proportion to inward certainty. The clearer the approved pattern behind, the more confidently arrangement occurs in front. Hesitation behind produces fragmentation in front. Certainty behind produces consolidation in front. The unseen tempo sets the visible pace. Organization brings relief, because relief comes from coherence. When events align with intention, friction reduces. When structure matches approval, strain diminishes. Life begins to feel purposeful rather than accidental, directed rather than reactive, constructed rather than chaotic. This is not control imposed from outside. It is order expressed from within. The law of organization therefore requires patience with sequence, not passive waiting, but steadfast alignment, to remain consistent behind while arrangement unfolds in front. To trust that structure once approved cannot remain invisible indefinitely because approval carries direction, direction carries momentum, momentum carries manifestation, and manifestation is simply organization made physically visible. There is an unmistakable intelligence within organization. It is not mechanical. It is not cold. It is precise. It understands proportion. It understands timing. It understands placement. When you consciously approve an inward pattern, you are not forcing life to comply. You are cooperating with structural intelligence that already exists. Organization does not invent. It arranges. It takes what has been authorized behind and positions it appropriately in front. Notice how clarity accelerates organization. When you are decisive inwardly, delays reduce. When you are certain behind, contradictions diminish. Ambiguity fragments arrangement. Certainty consolidates it. The more unified the approved pattern, the more unified the outward structure. This is why divided intention produces divided experience. Organization can only arrange what is consistently held. Organization also reveals hierarchy. Not everything carries equal weight. Some thoughts are casual, some are foundational. The foundational thoughts organize the casual ones. The dominant approval organizes the secondary approvals. What you treat as primary behind becomes primary in front. What you treat as minor behind loses influence in front. Thus, inward hierarchy becomes outward structure. There is no strain in true organization. Strain appears only when inner conflict persists. When you attempt to approve opposing patterns simultaneously, arrangement hesitates. But when approval is unified, organization flows with ease because sequence recognizes clarity, and clarity grants direction, and direction grants placement. Organization, therefore, becomes evidence of inward consistency. It is the visible testimony that governance has been established behind. When you see alignment emerging in front, recognize that structure has been honored behind. When you see fragmentation in front, return gently to sequence behind, not with frustration, but with renewed approval. Because organization is faithful to pattern, it does not punish, it reflects. Over time, organization becomes unmistakable. What was once subtle declares itself. The design approved behind emerges as visible inevitability in front. Connections reveal sequence. Resources take their appointed place. Conversations align. Intention has been stabilized. Speech reflects inward governance and certainty. Words carry approved architecture. Language follows structure. Governance within produces order without. Effort becomes efficient. Movement now follows structure, not reaction. Movement becomes more direct. The scattered becomes structured. The vague becomes defined. And what was once merely approved inwardly stands confidently arranged in the physically visible field. Effect stands in front. Appearance stands in front. The echo stands in front. The physical world stands in front. Organization is the physically visible arrangement of what has already been approved behind. Affirmation for day 54. I align inwardly. I approve deliberately. I stabilize structure behind. Organization unfolds in front. Physical reality arranges around my approved pattern without exception.